Hey, what's up, everybody? Very special video today. Something a little different, something I've never really done before. I have a list here of a bunch of players, about 20 plus MLB players who've essentially had a really good start to the season, and guys that I'm adding to my PC. So guys who I'm, quote, investing in. Now, I want to make a disclaimer in the beginning of this video. Baseball cards are not an investment. Do not treat them as an investment. Baseball cards are fun. But that being said, you know, there are some spots, I think, where guys are good buys right now in hopes that maybe their cards gain some value in the future. But like I said, this is not advice. Don't take this as advice like, hey, go out and buy this guy. This is just some things that I noticed early on in the season. Players that I like, a combination of their statistics, whether it's their career or just this year, and their age, like the combination of stats and age. What kind of growth do I see for this potential player? Maybe they're on a good team. They have a chance to win a lot of games if they're a pitcher, whatever. So we're going to get into 20 plus players. By the way, tomorrow we are going to be live on Whatnot. So make sure to bookmark that stream. We're going live at noon Eastern. I'm going to be selling a lot of really cool singles. And also kicking off, hopefully, as long as I don't have a delay in my shipment, 2024 Topps Heritage High Number Sealed Hobby Case Full Case Profit Challenge with hobby box giveaways on every part of the series. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure you come back for that because the series is going to be phenomenal. I think we're going to have hopefully a lot of really good pulls. And like I said, as long as my case doesn't get delayed, we should be able to do that series on time. But let's get into this. So basically what I've done is I went through and I kind of looked at this year's stats, and some players stuck out to me. So the first two players are going to be from Boston. So Wilyer Abreu is number one. So when you look at Wilyer's career so far, 276 hitter, 20 home runs, 84 ribbies, 836 OPS. Nothing, you know, it's not like huge numbers, but they're very good numbers for a very young player. He's got 504 at-bats, and he's 25 years old. Look at what he's done this year. 483, 3 homers, 12 ribbies, stolen base. His OPS is hilarious, 1492. It's only 29 at-bats. It's a very small sample size. Every player that you see me talk about today is a very small sample size. But what I like about Abreu is that age. That 25 is like a key age for a lot of players. Players can be good in Major League Baseball into their mid-30s. You know, it's not like hockey where typically you'll see a drop-off in a player unless your name is Alexander Ovechkin and you break Gretzky's record, which was awesome, by the way. But age 25, where a guy is starting to figure it out, that's typically a sign for me like, hey, go invest a little bit in this player. Wilyer Abreu is a guy who I have sold pretty much everything that I've pulled from him, but I may start, you know, keep hanging on to some of the better cards of him. And Boston, to me, seems like somewhat of an up-and-coming team. So I kind of like their future outlook. And this next player is a big part of that. Kristian Campbell. So Kristian Campbell, what's interesting about him is we're going to have to see if he is in Series 2. Because if he's in Series 2, I think he's going to end up being a big chase. 22-year-old player, 33 at-bats, 364 average, 2 homers, 5 ribbies, and a stolen base with an 1,100 OPS. Again, the numbers with every player, just keep in mind the small sample size, but this is a 22-year-old player. The guys who really their cards tend to skyrocket are the guys who get into the league early and produce early. You know, look at Juan Soto, look at Ronald Acuna. Those are two of the top players in baseball in terms of the hobby, and it's because they got in so early. Now, he didn't get in at the age that they did. Obviously, they were in as teenagers, but Campbell at age 22, showing that he belongs is a really good sign. He's got a real good prospect profile. He's a big kid. I mean, 6'3", 191. He's still got plenty of room to grow into his body as well. This is a guy who Series 2 is going to be interesting because if he's in there, and Roki Sasaki is probably definitely going to be in there, that's enough for me to invest pretty heavily in Series 2 because Sasaki is also not old and has ridiculous stuff. But Kristian Campbell, a guy I'm keeping my eye on. Next up, this is a guy who he already has over 1,000 at-bats in his career, and his career has been okay. Not like nothing earth-shattering. Like if you look at the OPS in his career, 655, not great. but he's had a great start to this year, and he's only 25 years old. This is another age 25 player that I think might be coming into his own, Maikel Garcia for the Royals. 6'1", 180, third baseman. Last year, not a great season, but you can see the stolen base numbers, 37. Really a player that has a ton of speed. Now, Maikel was in 2023 Update, which was a set that I opened a ton of. Now, I actually went back through all my Update. I have a lot of really nice rookies of him, and I'm pretty happy about that. He was a guy who I wasn't sure in the beginning when I was opening that set. Like, should I hang on to his cards or should I sell them? I fortunately ended up hanging on to most of what I have for him. And he's somebody I'm going to start a small collection of, I think. I mean, he's batting .345 early on this year. Hot start to the year. OPS way above normal. We'll see if maybe this is a breakout year for Garcia. And I really like the Royals team in general. I mean, it's nice when you have one of the best players, Bobby Witt Jr., in the game. Next up, Jacob Wilson. So Wilson was a highly touted player last year. Ended up having an injury that cut his season short, unfortunately. Boy, he has come out guns a-blazing this year. .351 average in 37 at-bats and teetering on that 1,000 OPS. So Jacob is only 23 years old. So this is another guy who I've started. I basically have been hanging on to a lot of his color matches. Like I have some of his Bowman cards in the green that matches the A's uniform, which is pretty cool. But a really hot start for Jacob Wilson, and I think as long as he stays healthy, he seems like a very safe player to invest in to me. A guy who's 23 who could be around for a very, very long time. Next up, sticking with the A's, Tyler Soderstrom. Soderstrom was interesting to me because he's a guy who I liked for a very long time, along with a guy, Sean Murphy, who used to be in the A's organization. So Soderstrom was in the MLB Top 100 years ago, and he came up, and you can see his career numbers are not good. And last year was not great. He was a guy who was a top 100 prospect super young and just did not show the ability to hit at the major league level. This year, that's obviously changing. He's batting .359. He's got 4 bombs already this season in 39 at-bats. He had 16 in his career in 353. So if he can show some power and keep that average above 270, 260, 270, going to be a big-time breakout season for Tyler Soderstrom. And I have a couple of really nice cards for Soderstrom. We pulled his Stadium Club rookie auto that I decided to hang on to. And I think I have his green color match rookie foil to $4.99. This next guy, Logan O'Hoppe, 25 years old, 700 at-bats. I like seeing that. He's got great power, 39 home runs in 704 at-bats. Really, really solid. And this year, look, he's not going to hit 5 home runs in every 29 at-bats, but it's a really, really good sign. He's a player who really seems to be coming into his own. 345, 5 homers, 1,200 OPS to start the season. I was really impressed with his year last year, 479 at-bats, 244 and 20 bombs. To be honest with you, I didn't even realize that he played that well. I don't see the Angels that often because they're a West Coast team. It's 10. By the time they're playing, it's 10, 10:30, and I try to be in bed here on the East Coast. So I don't get to watch Logan as much as I would like to. But at an age 25 season, 700 at-bats, he looks poised for a breakout. I already have a little bit of a O'Hoppe collection just because I was lucky pulling a lot of his really good cards from 2023 Update. So I ended up hanging on to those. And I also pulled his autograph, I think out of Topps Chrome. But he's a guy I like to hang on to some of his cards as well. Riley Greene. Riley Greene, really, really high-end prospect when he was coming out. One of the top 10 in the league. And he is really starting to blossom. This is a player who you can feel very comfortable buying his cards. And provided he stays healthy, which is the caveat for a lot of these players, I think he's going to be a great player for a long time. He is only 24 years old, and he has 1,300 at-bats. Again, it's a key thing I look for. When a guy is breaking out, how old is he? How many career at-bats has he had? What's his career been like so far? Last year, you can see Greene was 500 at-bats. That's all you can ask from a player. 262, 24 bombs, 74 ribbies. He's not going to steal a ton of bases, but this is a player who I think can be a 280 hitter with 30 home runs in his career. And that's, what more could you ask for from a guy at this age? He started this year 37 at-bats, 351, 3 home runs, and over 1,000 OPS. So Riley Greene, guy I'm definitely looking at. My best Riley Greene card is a rookie patch auto numbered to 50. And I also have one of his Bowman Spotlight cards numbered to 99. Two of my favorite cards in my entire collection. Next up, Spencer Torkelson. So this is an interesting one. I don't know whether to buy into what I'm seeing or not. So Torkelson has been a massive disappointment. He was the #1 overall pick in the draft. He had crazy college numbers hitting-wise. He was unbelievable. But I think maybe they rushed him a little too quickly. That's just a guess. I mean, Tigers fans, you can chime in on what you think happened with Tork. I think a lot of it might have been a mental game with him. Last year, he was god-awful in 342 at-bats. You can't hit 219 playing corner infield. You got to be a guy who has massive power, and you got to be hitting in that 250 range, in my opinion, to even stay in the league. But a guy who's the #1 overall pick is going to get every opportunity to succeed in the league. So I tried telling a lot of people not to give up on him because, again, when you're picked that high, you get more opportunities than a 33rd round pick. It's just the way it goes in baseball. They have more invested in you. He started off this year awesome. 324, 2 bombs, and over a 1,000 OPS in 34 at-bats. We'll see if Torkelson can sustain it, but I've held on to a lot of my Torkelson stuff because I want to believe that he's got 1,300 at-bats at age 25. I want to believe that Tork has figured it out. Next up, come on. This guy, Corbin Carroll, I cannot understand the Corbin Carroll decline in the hobby because he's only 24 years old still, 1,300 at-bat player. He had a phenomenal rookie season. Last year was definitely a sophomore slump for him. He played almost every game. He had 589 at-bats. He played a ton. 231 average. He still went 20-35. 22 homers, 35 steals. Average wasn't good. OPS is below average. I just believe in Corbin Carroll. I just think he's a great player, and he brings a lot to a team. And this year, he started off great. 282, 3 homers, over 1,000 OPS. The really weird part about Corbin is he hasn't even, I don't even think he's attempted a stolen base yet this year. He's got none on the season, and like I said, I don't think he's even tried one. So I would expect those numbers eventually to come up, his stolen base numbers. But right now, it's good to see him on track with that batting average. You want to see that average around 280, 290 for him. And if he could somehow hit 30 homers, that would be awesome. I would love to see Corbin become a 30-30 player. Next up, this is a guy who I've pulled some absolute bangers on the channel recently, Kyle Manzardo. So Manzardo, I originally thought was 26, which was, it would make a big difference for me in collecting, even though it's only 2 years. He's 24 years old. Career numbers, you can see 239, not great, 8 homers, 750 OPS, but he started this year off pretty solid, 31 at-bats, 258 average, 3 bombs, really, really early on. I think this is a kid we're going to see good power numbers from. I just don't know if his average is ever going to hold above 275, 280. He might be below there. I still like the player a lot for age 24, and he's a player, like I said, I pulled his Real One Auto. I pulled his black from Heritage. I pulled his green border. These are all cards I decided to hang on to because I found out he was 24. So I'm willing to invest a little bit in Kyle Manzardo. Next up, Sal Frelick. So this is a player, don't go crazy with this player. I like him. I've always been a fan of him. He played for Team Italy in the World Baseball Classic. I'm Italian, so I can get behind some Italy guys. He's 24 years old, 703 at-bats already. Now, Frelick is not a guy who, again, this is not a player you're investing in a high ceiling. His cards are never going to go to the moon at all. Why? He has no power whatsoever. So typically guys in the hobby that their cards are going to fly to the moon, they're going to have power, speed combo. They're going to be able to do a little bit of everything. What I like about Frelick is his contact rate. This is a guy who doesn't strike out a ton, and the Brewers, I think, they're on the right track. So he could be a guy who's on a decent team forever. He could just play until he's 37 years old. You might just have a guy with a really long career. This year, he started off red hot, 378 average and 37 at-bats. Obviously, no home runs. You're not going to see that number be high ever. He's only got 5 in his career and 703 at-bats. So he's very projectable. You hope. What I'm hoping from Frelick is that average stays in that 290 and maybe even 300 range. Maybe we found a guy who can bat 300 because he's turned the corner. We'll see. Don't invest heavily in Frelick. Again, it's a guy who I like to collect because he might have a really, really long career. Next up, Nico Hoerner. So this is one of the older players you're going to see on my list. 27 years old, Nico Hoerner. But he's put together a really, really decent career. So he's a 280 hitter, 29 home runs. Again, this is a guy with no power, not really a lot of power. 223 ribbies, 108 stolen bases, 721 OPS. Last year really started to turn the corner for me on Hoerner because in 582 at-bats, he maintained that 273 average. So that's pretty impressive in 582 at-bats. I think that he might be able to get higher, similar to Frelick. I think this is a guy who maybe can hit in the 290s. Who knows? We'll see if he's turned a corner and he's going to break out. But last year, 31 stolen bases too. This year, red hot. 36 at-bats, 361 average, 6 ribbies, 6 stolen bases, 814 OPS. He's creeping up in that OPS, which is really nice to see. So we'll see what Nico Hoerner can do for the rest of the year. Brice Turang, so another 2023 update guy. That set continues to get better, and it's discounted everywhere. I keep saying it, but 2023 update is awesome. So Turang in 1,000 career at-bats, only a 242 average, not great. 78 stolen bases is nice. OPS, 640, not ideal. Last year, 559 ABs, 250 average, so he hit above his career average. 7 home runs in 559 at-bats and 50 stolen bases. So for me, when I saw the 50 steals, I'm like, wow, this guy, he's only 25 years old. He's already stealing 50 bases. You can do that, for another 4 or 5 years until you start to slow down. This year, he started off fantastic. 40 at-bats, 325 average, 2 home runs, 6 ribbies, 2 stolen bases, and the OPS is way up at 849. We'll see if he can keep that up high. I think he's a good defensive player, too. Brewers fans can let me know. But Turang seems like a pretty safe investment at this point as just a guy who's going to be really solid. Again, not everybody on this list is like a huge ceiling player. It's just guys that I've noticed have had good starts to the season that I'm just going to hold on to a few good cards of. Lawrence Butler. This is one of my favorite players to invest in right now, and I've held on to a lot of his good stuff. He, honestly, one of the best cards I own is a Lawrence Butler. It is a Bowman rookie, green autograph to 99, Bowman Chrome. Beautiful looking card with the color match. Butler signed, I believe he signed a long-term deal with Oakland, so he's safe. He's safe with the A's. Career regular season, 573 at-bats. So this is kind of project. His career is essentially one full season with 573 ABs, 253 average, 27 bombs, 19 stolen bases. You can see this is a potentially a 25-25 player, maybe even a 30-20 player. We'll see if the power numbers can hold up. But this year he started off pretty good, right just above his career average, 289. 1 homer, 2 ribbies, 1 steal, and a nice 833 OPS. I think Lawrence Butler is just starting to scratch the surface of what he could potentially be. Very fun player to watch out there with the A's. Let's do some pitchers. Yamamoto. So pitchers, again, tread lightly with pitchers. Their prices tend to be they tend to go down as they get older. Just even if they're great. Look at any of the great pitchers. There's only a few guys who really hold value. Somebody like Nolan Ryan, for example, his autographs and his numbered stuff still sells really well. But typically pitchers are not the best investment. Now, Yamamoto, look at his career. I mean, he's under a 3 earned run average, 2.8 now. This year, he started off really, really nice, 1.69 earned run average, 19 Ks in 16 innings. He's on a phenomenal team. This is a guy who has a potential, just like Roki Sasaki, to win multiple World Series, which is going to help your resume. So Yamamoto to me is just an easy investment. Plus the players, the Japanese players, they just have a great market over there. They have a great league over there, and when they come over here, they get a huge following. So keep that in mind. Yamamoto, really safe investment at age 26. He could do this for a decade. Next up, Logan Gilbert, another older player, age 27, but he's a guy with 123 starts under his belt. So he's 41-31 in his career. 3.59 is not terrible. Averages over a strikeout an inning. This year he started off fine. 3 earned run average, 12 innings pitched, 18 strikeouts. Look at that whip, .67. That's pretty nice. Last year, I took notice of Gilbert because 3.23, 208 innings, 220 strikeouts, a whip under 1. Really, really nice. I think Gilbert's kind of turning the corner. Not a high ceiling player at all, but not a bad guy to invest in that might be around for a while. MacKenzie Gore, I've already been investing in MacKenzie Gore for a very long time. I was very high on him when he was a Padres prospect. I think in the MLB Top 100, he cracked the top 10 before he actually made it to the bigs. So this is a guy who last year was not great. He was solid, and that's what I was looking for out of him. 10 and 12, 3.9 earned run average. He's got high strikeout potential. 166 innings, 181 strikeouts. The whip is too high. You can see last year 1.42 and his career 1.41, way high. But this year he started off 2.45 earned run average, 18 strikeouts in 11 innings, and that whip is way down. What I'm wondering with Gore, he may have figured out that whip. He might get it under 1, and he might have a under 3 or around 3 ERA. He's kind of poised for a breakout season with Washington. Next up, this is a guy I've been hyping since Series 1 came out because I watched him pitch last year. I was very impressed, and he's only 24. Spencer Schwellenbach was a rookie last year. 21 games, 3.35 earned run average, 127 Ks and 123 innings, and a 1.04 whip is a really impressive whip for a rookie, in my opinion, especially a rookie playing in a tough division with a lot of teams that can hit the ball. Look at what he's done starting off this year. Talk about a hot start. 2 games, 1 win, hasn't allowed a run, 1 strikeout, 1 strikeout per inning, and a whip of .29. .29 is going to get me to notice you immediately. Schwellenbach is a guy who I've pulled some cool cards from in Series 1. I do have his autograph from an unlicensed product. I'm going to hang on to a lot of Schwellenbach because he's only 24. And the Braves, they've had a brutal start to this season, but they're not going to play that way the whole year, in my opinion. Schwellenbach, easy investment at age 24. Next up, a guy I invested in that I almost gave up on, Kris Bubic. So he's 27 now, which it's crazy to think because I was buying his cards when I first got back into the hobby in 2021 Bowman. And I still own a bunch of his autographs and some of his really cool numbered cards. He seems like he has absolutely turned the corner. His career numbers do not look great for a 27-year-old. 4.52 ERA and 344 strikeouts and 368. So you can see he's not overpowering. 1.46 whip. Yikes. I don't like to see that at all. But last year, he turned the corner at age 26. 27 games, 2.67 earned run average, 39 Ks and 30 innings. And look at that whip down to 1.02. That's what we want to see. This year, he's picked up right where he left off last year. 2-0, .71 earned run average, 16 strikeouts in 12 innings, and a .87 whip. Kris Bubic, I think, is poised for a nice career. He's a lefty, too. Teams are always looking for lefty starters to add to their rotation. He seems like an easy play. Jack Leiter. I'm super excited about Jack Leiter because of his pedigree and his dad, Al Leiter. Obviously, I was a huge fan of him growing up. Jack Leiter, 24 years old, he got wrecked last year. He was so bad, 0-3, 8.83 earned run average, 35 innings, 31 Ks, a whip that is completely outrageous at 1.71. He has been super good this year to start. 2-0, .9 ERA, 10 innings, 10 Ks. You know, they're keeping him. He's only pitching 5 innings at a time, but he looks really, really solid. I wanted him to break out this year. I don't know that this is going to hold. I haven't looked at his advanced metrics yet, but I got to think this is a great sign for Jack Leiter moving forward. Next up, one of my favorite pitchers in baseball. I've been investing in this guy for a long time, and I own his rookie auto Shimmer from Stadium Club numbered to 5. It's one of my favorite cards in my collection. Hunter Greene for Cincinnati, flame-throwing 6'5", 250-pound, 25-year-old who already has 74 career games. Look at his career numbers. The win-loss isn't great, but you can't. That's not like a good stat. 3.85 earned run average, 500 strikeouts and 400 innings. Completely overpowering stuff. And last year, he was phenomenal. Every single game he pitched, 9-5, 2.75 earned run average. He picked up right where he left off last year in his age 25 season, 2.25 earned run average, 16 Ks in 12 innings, and a very nice whip. Hunter Greene, easy investment for me. I love holding on to some of his big cards that I own. Next up is going to be Mason Miller. I've talked about Mason Miller a ton on the YouTube channel, obviously, because I started a PC of him 2 years ago. So when I started opening 2023 update, again, I'm mentioning that set because he's a rookie in there. I started collecting him because I just love watching him. He just throws absolute gas, 6'5", 200 pounds, 26-year-old reliever, closer, and he's just fun to watch. So I've kind of picked on him as a guy that I like to collect, and his career numbers, you can't even argue. I mean, he's one of the best relievers in baseball. His last year, 2.49 earned run average, 104 Ks in 65 innings. The dude has electric stuff. 0.88 whip. He's picked up right where he left off. 4 games this year. I think he's got 3 saves, 4 innings, 8 Ks, 0.75. Mason Miller, a guy I'm heavily investing in as a reliever. Even though I don't typically invest in relievers, you got to pick a couple of guys to have fun with. Mason Miller's my guy. Last but not least, it wouldn't be a video if I wasn't talking about Paul Skenes. Paul Skenes in his first 2 starts this year. Look at this guy's career numbers. I mean, he is the easiest investment in the history of baseball. The problem is it's very expensive to buy his stuff, obviously. But man, if you're pulling some great Paul Skenes cards, I used to say just sell everything when it comes to pitchers. He's making it really hard for me to say that. Like, I feel like a hypocrite because now I'm keeping a lot of his stuff. He's so fun to watch. Jake, just put the stats aside. He's so fun to watch. He's so electric. He's such a monster. 6'6", 260, throwing 102-mile-an-hour two-seam fastballs. He's got, like, what, 5 pitches that are elite? I mean, he's the closest to a sure thing you're ever going to find as a pitcher. And as long as he stays healthy, you're looking at a Hall of Famer. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't want to anoint a guy after 25 games. But if he stays healthy, I've never seen a guy with this type of stuff. Even Strasburg, when everybody was saying he was going to be the best ever. Skenes is way above him, in my opinion. It's not even close. Great start to the regular season. 2 games, like I said, 1 win, 1.46. 13 Ks is a little down from where I would expect off of 12 innings, but super small sample size. He's got a .65 whip, and I think guys are hitting like 130 against him or something. I don't have that stat in front of me, but I saw it the other day. A guy whose career whip is under 1 and career earned run average is under 2. It's going to be amazing to watch this guy the rest of the year, and I can't wait to do it, honestly. He's a guy who now I am literally, every time he starts, I'm going to watch Pirate games. So that's all I got. I mean, I just wanted to do something different today. I really, again, don't treat cards as an investment, but have fun with it. That's what I do. I keep 3 or 4 good cards of every player. I have a display room, which I am going to do a video on eventually and show you guys that when it's done. And essentially what I do is I keep, those 3-4 cards on display. If a guy starts to fall off, I take those cards off the display. Somebody else goes up. They go in a binder, in a top loader binder. So, and like I said, I'll show you guys that room once it's ready. But that's how I have fun with it. I sell as much as I can to keep the channel operating. And these are some new guys, some guys that I've been collecting. I just wanted to point out how good their season's been, but also some new guys that I'm adding to my collection for sure. So again, full case profit challenge starts up tomorrow. As long as my case gets here, you're not going to want to miss it. We're giving away a bunch of hobby boxes. We're giving away other stuff for the closest guess. So make sure if you want to follow along with that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thanks for watching.